Welcome to the Kirk of many Guises, and my name is Graham. In our last YouTube presentation, we talked about making yourself the best that you could possibly be. And that has led to a number of questions from a variety of different sources of people saying, yeah, that is fine, but how do we actually do it? And in today's talk, what I wanted to do is to give you some idea of pointers as to ways that you can help make yourself the best that you can be. I mean, we don't start off from a level playing field. We are all born with certain sets of circumstances that we can't change. For example, our ancestry and our DNA. If our parents were of a particular racial group or a particular economic group, if they were strong and vigorous, or if they were healthy with some crippling illness, hereditary illness, then that inevitably will start your path. It'll be a factor in the beginning of your path. And also your upbringing, your parents, your schooling, your early experience of life, your experience of life to date. They will all colour who you are, how you behave, how you respond to circumstances. And that's already on board with you. And the fourth factor is the inevitability of death. Death faces us all. Some people live longer and shorter lives than others. But death is there. And that is a factor in the calculation that cannot be factored out. That is something that governs the whole of our life and our development. But having considered the things that you cannot change, let's look at far more factors that you can change. If you think the factors that you cannot change is like a hand of cards that you've been dealt, then the factors that you change are the way you play those cards. And with imagination and intelligence and skill, and yes, with luck, even a bad set of cards, you can win the game. And equally, if you can start off in the most ideal circumstances, the most benign of circumstances, and make a mess of your life because of the decisions that you take. But let's look at some of these factors that govern our lives, that we can change, that once we're adults, we've got total control over. The first one is diet. You are what you eat. The Chinese say, food is medicine, medicine is food. Now, of course, there are a lot of regional differences across the world and so on, which affect the actual detail of what you eat and drink. But there are similar number of common principles that apply across the globe. First of these is to eat locally. Eat what is locally grown and eat it in season. As far as possible, eat food that is natural. The processing, the cooking of it, down to an absolute minimum. The more natural the food is, the more in its raw state it is, generally speaking, the better it is for you. Limit the quantity of meat that you eat. Limit the quantity of sugar and salt and animal fat that you eat. Eat plenty of fish and seafood, plenty of vegetables, fruits and nuts. And by taking note of what's happening locally in your area, you can work out something that is ideal for you, not only in terms of your nutrition and your physical well-being, but also mentally. Food that you enjoy eating, that you get satisfaction from cooking, preparing and eating, hopefully together with others. The second factor is sleeping, which is often missing from lists produced from doctors and so on. Sleeping is important. Basically what's happening in sleep is we are processing information. When we're awake, we're taking in information all the time. But in sleep, we are processing that information. So, when we go to sleep, it's like leaving an office untidy. And next morning, because you've got super efficient cleaners, you come back to your office, everything's filed, neat and tidy, and ready to face the new day. So, if you have inadequate sleep, insufficient sleep, then you can have a messy office in day one, go back to a messy office in day two, and cannot deal effectively with the new situations and circumstances that day two deliver up to you. And therefore sleep is important. Make it as important as your diet, as your exercise regime, and all other factors to do with your health. Thirdly is clothing. Again, a lot of our time and so on is spent on fashion and colour and circumstances and so on. But clothing is important for health. And you need to dress in the best way to meet the environmental conditions that you find yourself. You need to have clothing that is loose and flexible enough that it's not tight, it's not restraining on any part of your body. And equally, you need to wear footwear that meet the ground conditions and give support and comfort for the feet. Because if your walking is impaired, then the rest of your life is limited in what you can do. The next factor is habits. Avoid substances and behaviour which are known, clearly known, to be harmful to the body and to the mind. Obviously, some people are more susceptible biologically to addictions of various types. Some have got more built-in safeguards. But if you have a problem, seek help early and get it put right. Exercise. The important thing in exercise is moving all parts of your body, stretching all parts of your body, giving yourself mild perspiration. And there is a balance in exercise. The most is not necessarily the best. Being a couch potato is one side of the spectrum. Running too many marathons in a month is the other side of the spectrum. In either sense, you are doing your body no good at all. And depending upon your health and your circumstances, find a healthy regime which suits you, which stretches you, taxes you, moves all your body, and keep to it, a regular routine. Don't go like a bull at a gate, massive exercise 1 week, tire yourself out and do nothing because of injuries for a month after that. Rather, little and often is the best way to go.